1,000 people per year that hike through Torres del Paine. As you can imagine, the trails are all very well marked, very well worn. All right, there's no concern that you're going to lose the trail. Not only that, but most of the hiking is done through valleys or right along the sides of mountains. It would be very, very difficult to get lost. If the trail changes, if you're getting onto another route, there will be a sign there marking it. You don't need to worry about stumbling onto a hidden trail. If the road or the path divides off and goes two different directions and there's no sign there, you can be totally confident that this split, they'll reconverge, whether it happens in 5 meters or in 500 meters, they will come back together and continue on. Okay? There are a couple of reasons that this happens. The first is that sometimes what you're seeing is the division of a horse path and a foot path. Okay? Other times it's a little bit more because people have been irresponsible in the past. One year the trail was a little bit muddy. Somebody decided they didn't want to get their boots muddy. They decided to walk up on the nice grassy patch that went above the nasty part of the trail. Well, guess what? 100,000 people followed them that year, and now we have 2 trails. Okay? There are places in the park that this has repeated itself enough times that you'll see 5 or 6 trails running parallel to one another. Please take one of them. Please don't contribute to this problem. Stick to one of the established trails. Don't go up that spot where the grass is matted down, where it looks like people found an ingenious way to get around an unpleasant park. Okay? You should go into the park figuring that your feet are likely to be wet the entire time that you are hiking in Torres del Paine. Okay? This doesn't mean they have to be wet the entire time you're in the park. Remember, you should bring your extra pair of footwear for back in the campsite, something dry so you haven't been hiking in all day. Okay, takes pressure off those hot spots, keeps you from forming blisters, lets you have dry feet and comfort for the majority of your day. Okay, but otherwise, recommend keeping the boots on, hiking through these muddy stretches, hiking across these creek crossings that you're going to come to. Deal with it as such. Realize that as soon as you get to camp, you can change into your dry shoes. All right, you'll save yourself a lot of time. You'll save the trails a lot of unnecessary wear. Okay. Back to where we left off. Down here, 12:30 p.m. Paine Grande Lodge at Peway. Day 1. The Paine Grande Lodge is one of 2 large hotel complexes on the W Trail. So the other is the Osteria Las Torres over here. Okay, these are pretty big places. I don't know. I think Paine Grande has 100+ beds in it. People call it Disneyland. Okay? If you're looking for a place to come back each night, sip a vodka tonic, buy a stupid T-shirt, this is the spot. Okay? If you're looking for anything resembling a wilderness experience, or you're looking to get away from people who are wearing fur coats, all right, you should run from this place as fast as you possibly can. All right. We recommend running up in this direction. Okay? It's 3.5 to 4 hours will get you up to the Refugio Grey. We recommend staying night 1. Okay? Refugio Grey is a nice spot. Sits on the side of Lago Grey there. There are icebergs drifting by. It's a 15-minute walk from a good mirador that gives you a view out over the glacier. It's pretty pleasant. However, it is a paid refugio site. If you've got some extra time, some extra energy, I'd advise going up the extra hour. It is an hour uphill, but it is only an hour, to the free campsite above it, Campamento Los Guardas. Guardas is a much less populated campsite. Gray tends to attract a lot of people. It also is, it sits right up here. This map's kind of old. The glaciers receded to about here. Campamento Los Guardas sits right there on the edge of the glacier. You've got a view down into the cracks. It's very, very cool. So I would advise going up there and staying there for night 1 if you're feeling it. Even if you're not, even if you want to stay in Gray, Los Guardas makes a good day hike with just a light pack. Leave your stuff down in Gray. Throw a snack, an extra layer, some water into a backpack. And you can hike up to Los Guardas and check out the glacier from there. It's a nice little hike. Okay, I figure on an hour up, an hour back, half an hour to sit there, stare at the glacier. Puts you 2.5, 3 hours. All right. Cool. If for whatever reason you're doing the W in 4 days, you don't feel like going all the way up to Gray, make sure to get up to at least this point, 2 hours up this trail. Okay. At that point, the ground kind of levels off. You stop climbing for a little bit. You get a great view out over not just the lake and the glacier here, but on a clear day, you can see all the way back up to where this map is blocking onto the South Patagonian ice field. All right, has anybody here been to Perito Moreno, to the glacier on the Argentine side? Yeah, okay. Perito Moreno, Great Glacier, both come shooting off the Patagonian ice cap. They're both about the same size. All right. If those two glaciers were fingers on my hand, the South Patagonian ice cap would be about twice the size of my arm. All right. It's an enormous lake of ice. It's the third largest freshwater reserve in the world after Antarctica and Greenland. Okay. Very, very cool. Very climatologically important. There are very few hiking trails in Patagonia that give you a view out over the ice cap, and this is one of them. So try to make sure to get at least 2 hours up there, catch the view before hiking back down and continuing on as you were going to. First night, you stay up here. Morning of day 2, you're going to wake up. You're going to recommend getting early starts each of these days. Okay. If you get out there 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you'll show up at your next campsite before the masses start to arrive. Okay. The campsites very rarely fill up. It's not a concern, but it is nice to get first pick of the spots. Some of the last spots that are left over tend to be on inclines or have rocky ground. Not so great to pitch a tent on, not so great to sleep on that night. If you get out of here by 8, 9 o'clock, you hike back down this trail, you'll cross back through the Paine Grande Lodge about lunchtime. From there, it's 2 hours, the easiest 2 hours of trail in the park, up to Campamento Italiano, where you'll stay night 2. Italiano is a free campsite. It sits down here at the base of the French Valley. Our goal is to day 3, leave our stuff down here in Italiano, and day hike the French Valley. Okay. French Valley is the highlight of the trip for about 95% of the people that I talk with coming out of the park. If you have extra time, extra days, this would be a good place to spend it, or to make sure that you get a day of good weather, because otherwise it can be kind of fickle. If it's cloudy, the difference between seeing the French Valley on a cloudy day and on a clear day is enormous. It's about 3.5 hours to get all the way up to the back of the French Valley. This isn't an easy 3.5 hours. It is a series of climb, plateau. If you get all the way to the top of it, you'll have worked for it. Okay. The good news is you don't have to get all the way to the back to have a good idea of the beauty that's back there, and to have a good appreciation for the place. As long as you get up, about an hour and a half, there'll be a spot that levels out. You'll probably see people like sitting on towels or blankets up there, eating lunch. Okay, looking out over, it's got a great view up onto this hanging glacier here off the side of Paine Grande. When the sun's been hitting that thing for a few hours in the afternoon, it starts dropping spectacular avalanches every 20 or 30 minutes. It's very cool. So as long as you get up to that point, beyond there, it's all an exercise in perspective. Okay, you gain elevation, you get different angles on the peaks back there. It's very, very nice, but it's not absolutely necessary if you don't feel like you're up for it. Okay. If you have lots of extra energy, you can take your stuff up here and stay in Campamento Britannico. There's a free campsite up near the back of the valley. Okay. This is a very cool place. It takes some work to get up there with your pack. If you pass people on the trails, they'll be looking at you kind of strangely, thinking you took the wrong way or something, because not too many people hike up there with all their equipment. But the campsite itself is a good reward. It sits up there, it's kind of nestled back in this cathedral of rock. Okay. Every night that I've stayed in there, I've had the only tent in the campsite, even if there were 30 tents down at Italiano. So worth it for that aspect as well. It's much less crowded than the other sites tend to be. On the day hiking plan here, save yourself enough energy, turn around, come back. Save yourself enough energy to be able to pick up your stuff from Italiano that afternoon, evening of day 3. Bring it over to Los Cuernos and plan on staying night 3 there in the Refugio Los Cuernos. Okay. You can see here maybe part of the reason that we do the W in this direction at this point. The hikes have been getting longer and a little bit more difficult with each day. This corresponds with the fact that your pack is getting lighter as you eat your food and burn your fuel. This also goes with the fact that you're getting to be in better shape. At the end of each day, you feel a little bit less like you're going to die than you did at the end of the day before. Okay, those muscles that you didn't know that you had start to get a little bit of tone to them, and things get more pleasant. So this holds true. The hikes get longer and harder through the rest of the W this way, and it holds true for the circuit as well if you extend it out the way that I'm going to propose. Okay, the morning of day 4, you wake up. You have your longest hike of the trek. You're going to come all the way up around here to Campamento Torres, the free campsite down at the base of the towers. All right. You should plan on, it's about 6 to 8 hours to hike up there. There's good news though. By the map, it looks like you have to hike all the way down into that valley to the Hosteria de las Torres and then shoot up. This is not the case. There is a very well-marked, totally park-sanctioned shortcut, all right, that breaks off to the left here. There's a sign that says shortcut from Los Cuernos to Chileno. When the valley opens up, it breaks off to the left. It keeps high. It saves you some elevation gain or some elevation change. It also saves you probably an hour to 2 hours worth of hiking, so it's definitely worthwhile to take this shortcut. Okay? Come up, you'll pass the Refugio Chileno there. It's, I don't know, if you find yourself there with both your legs broken, it's a possible place to stop. Okay? I'd recommend resisting the temptation to throw up your tent and give up and camp there, though. Continue on that extra hour to get up to Campamento Torres. A few reasons here. First of all, Torres is a free campsite as opposed to a 5,000 peso per person per night refugio site. Secondly, it's a nicer place. It's got a good tree canopy there, protects from the rain, protects a little bit from the wind. Third of all, it puts you right down at the base of this 45-minute trail up to the Mirador for the towers. Okay? It's much, much easier because our goal is to get up there to see the towers for sunrise on the morning of day 5. All right? Bad news. The sun comes up over the horizon at about 5:30. Okay? So if you stay down here in Chileno and you want to get up there for the sunrise, you've got to be up very, very early. It's really not even realistic to plan on getting up there from there. Okay? From Campamento Torres, it's a 45-minute hike up. This isn't easy. It is 45 minutes at 45 degrees, navigating a rock field using your hands. Okay? This is the steepest bit of hiking that you'll be doing. Luckily, you'll be doing it without your full backpack. Okay? You're not going to take all of your stuff up there. This is going to be a side hike. So, the mistake that most people make when they go up to see the towers is that they get out of their tents that morning. It's freezing cold outside. They throw on every warm garment that they have, and they go tearing up the trail. Okay? 10 minutes in, they realize they're in the midst of a strenuous hike. They start to sweat pretty hard. Okay? By the time they arrive at the top, they're soaked through with sweat. The wind comes out. Okay? They hang around for that sunrise. They wait for it to hit. The wind comes out. It hits. They freeze instantly. Out come the cameras, 100 photographs in 30 seconds, and then they're gone. Okay? They've just hiked an hour and a half and spent 10 minutes up there with the towers. Not the best way to spend the morning of day 5. Okay? Honestly, where does everybody want to be at 5:30 in the morning? In bed. Right, exactly. We're gonna meet halfway on this. We're gonna try to arrange that. Okay. Morning of day 5, Campamento Torres, 4:30 a.m. Okay, you're gonna start hearing alarm clocks go off all over the campsite because everyone has told themselves that they're going to go do this thing. Okay? Reality kicks in. All right? The wind's been blowing all night. It's been playing with the fly on the tent. Okay? You've been having trouble sleeping. Oh, somebody's alarm clock gets off. They're kind of grumpy. Get up, bloodshot eyes. They crack that rain fly. Look outside. They don't see any stars. Bad sign. Okay, they feel a couple of drops of mist on their face. There's about 10 seconds of blinking hesitation there before they decide, fuck that. They zip their tent back up. They go back to sleep. Best decision they've made in 5 days out on the trail. Until, 2 hours later, when all of their closest friends and acquaintances from the trail from the last week come bounding down the side of the mountain, talking about how amazing and life-changing their experience was, about the fact that they saw pumas out there. Okay, the people who stayed in their tents regret this for the rest of their lives. Okay, get your cold, lazy ass out of the tent. Get up there to see the sunrise on the morning of day 5. Okay, when you do this, you wake up. You've got your empty backpack lying there next to you. First things to go in there should be your sleeping bag, your sleeping mat. Okay. On top of that, your stove, your hot drink, your breakfast. Okay, your pack's still really light, I promise. Okay? Go outside of your tent. Resist the temptation to pull on every warm piece of clothing that you have. Go out there, just dress the way that you were dressed when you were trekking the day before. All right. If you do this, you handle the cold by just walking faster for the first bit of that bit of the climb. You'll get to the top dry. When you get to the top, you throw down your sleeping pad, put your bag down on top of it on the rocks. Okay, crawl down in there, pull out your stove, fire that up. You can be sipping coffee when the sun comes up and hits the towers in the morning. Okay, everyone else that came up that we talked about before will look down. They'll see you down there warming your sleeping bag. They're freezing. They'll realize that was a good idea. They're out of there. Okay, you've got whatever amount of time you want to sit up there. The sun comes over the horizon, like I said, at 5:30. At about 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, it breaks the mountains behind. It hits the towers. Has everyone seen that? The photographs with the towers in pink. Yeah. Okay. Does everybody know what Photoshop is? But seriously, it is really nice. You do get like a 10-minute window there where you get that low angle light, gives a cool demonstration in optical physics where you get the alpenglow off the face of the granite. Very, very nice. Very, very worth the trip. Okay. If you sit up there, hanging out until 7:15, 7:30. You can easily get back down to Campamento Torres by about 8 o'clock. Gives you an hour to pack up your camp. If you leave Campamento Torres at 9 a.m., you can easily make it back down to the Osteria Las Torres here by 12 o'clock noon. The important thing is that you arrive down at the Osteria by 2 o'clock p.m. because at 2 o'clock the mini shuttle comes from over here at Laguna Amarga, picks people up, takes you back to Laguna Amarga to make your 2:30 p.m. bus connection back to Puerto Natales. All right. If for whatever reason you don't want to or you can't make that earlier connection, there is another shuttle from the Osteria at 7:30 p.m. to make an 8 o'clock bus connection at Laguna Amarga. Your bus tickets on the back will have the times printed on them for when the bus shows up at each of the 3 access points to pick people up and take them out. Okay, any questions on the W itinerary I've just gone through? Cool. I'm going to really kind of fast because a lot of it is self-evident, but brush through how we extend out the circuit. First of all, when people get off here at Puerto, circuit people recommend coming down here the rest of the way to administration, getting off to hike this access trail. There is no free camping on the back side of the circuit. So we're going to try and save a little bit of money here. Also, since it's your first day, you've got 10 days worth of stuff in your pack. It's kind of nice to take it easy that first day. We just come up 2 hours, stay night 1 in Campamento Las Carretas down here. Okay? Wake up the morning of day 2. We continue up. Free campsite, stay night to an Italiano. Now you can see we're on exactly the same itinerary as the W people now. We're going to be following them around for the next few days. Day 3, same day hike of the French Valley, back down, night 3 in Los Cuernos. Day 4, hike up to Campamento Torres, stay there. Day 5, up to see the towers at sunrise, back down, out. When everyone else is making their bus connections at the Hosteria de las Torres, circuit people have a couple of options. First of all, you can stay here in the Hosteria that night. It gives you a good chance to close the book on the W, okay, assess your equipment needs, make sure everybody's feeling good and ready to continue hiking. Part of why we do the circuit in this direction is that if on day 5 now you decide, no, I'm not up for this, I can't finish, you don't have to feel like you've missed out on the biggest highlights of Torres del Paine. Okay? If you hike the other way around and you get to here and you're not feeling well, you have to go home, you've missed the French Valley and the towers. Not so great. So you can stay there if you want that one night. Otherwise, you can continue up to Camping Cerrón. However, by all manners, you can take these campsites here. You've got Camping Los Perros, Camping Dixon, and Camping Cerrón. You can do these however you like. You can just go one day between each campsite. That's a possibility. If you want to cut some time out of some days out of your hike, you can easily do the Hosteria de las Torres up to Dixon is about a 10-hour hike. Okay, it's 10 hours mostly on the flat though. There's one bit of climb. There's a little pass that you go over. It's not too bad. That would be one option for getting a day out of that. Another way to shorten is to go from Camping Cerrón to Camping Los Perros in one day. That's another 9 to 10 hour day. All right. Important thing to keep in mind is that you should plan on spending one night here in Camping Los Perros. All right. This is because the next day you're going to cross John Garner Pass. John Garner Pass is far and away the most strenuous part of the circuit trek. Okay, it's a day of 1,400 meters of elevation change. It's up above tree line. It's pretty exposed to the wind. If there's any snow, even centimeters of snow on any of the other hiking trails in the park, there's likely between 0.5 meter and 2 meters of snow up on the pass. You should be asking around in the staffed campsites, asking around the staff, what are the conditions on the pass? Do they know? Has anybody gone over recently and talked to them? That kind of stuff. John Garner. Also John Garner. So you should plan on staying in Camping Los Perros and starting over the pass that next day. You've got 2 free campsite options up here on the other side of the pass, depending on how you're feeling. You can go just down to Campamento Paso, stay there, or you can go all the way down another 3 hours to Campamento Los Guardas, which puts you in a better position to hike out the next day. The last day's hike is from Paso or Guardas all the way down here to the Paine Grande Lodge. That's either 5 to 8 hours to do that. You want to arrive down here by either 12:30 p.m., that's when the first catamaran leaves, or 6:30 p.m., which is when the second leaves, to get back over to Puerto to catch your bus and get out of the park. Any questions on the 2 itineraries I've gone through?
Is there a way to avoid the catamaran?